Hello and welcome to Hearthstone. I have put videos of Hearthstone before, but a lot of people don't really know what's going on. So I'm going to try to explain the game to you guys so you can understand the games I'm going to put up when I put them up. Hearthstone is a collectible card game. This means that you start out with a very basic set of cards and you will be getting more as the time goes by, well, you can purchase packs of cards which contain random cards in different rarities, and you can also win them by playing a game mode called Arena. There are two game modes currently. One of them is Constructed, where you decide which deck you are playing by constructing it with the cards you have. The arena is random picks. You get the choice between different cards. There are choices between three different cards. You pick just one, and they are totally random. So you can't really decide beforehand exactly what kind of deck you are going to play. You have to build your deck as the selecting process goes up. Each time you play in arena, you get a card pack, so you can start building your collection from there. Also, you can craft your cards. Each card has a cost to create and a cost to disencant. So if you have already too many of a given card, you can disencant it and collect the arcane dust, which is this thing here, to create cards you don't have. For instance, I don't still have this one. I could create it because it's 40 arcane dust and I have 87. Of course, that depends on how rare the card is. The more rare it is, the more expensive it is. There are different rarities of cards in Hearthstone. They are common, which don't have any kind of crystal in the middle. This you get just by playing the class. When you reach level 10 in a given class, you will have all of the commons. Then you have, they are normal, or then they are commons. Actually, these are the commons. The ones with the white little crystal in the middle. These are, well, really easy to get in card packs. Then there are rare. The rare ones are the blue crystals and are more complicated to get in arena or in packs, I mean. And finally, there's epic, which is violet, like this one, which are even more rare. And finally, you have the legendaries. Legendaries are very special cards. I only have a few of them, and they have a orange crystal, and they are really rare. Chances to get this in a pack is really low. So each time you get one is kind of a memorable experience. I got, for instance, this one. I got really lucky to have it. So that's the thing about the rarities. The more you play arena, the more card packs you will have, and the more arcane dust you can accumulate to craft, or even you will get new cards. That's all about it. Now, what about the cards themselves? As you can see, the card, for instance, let's see the Core Hound card. It has a number up left. This is the mana cost. That costs to play this card. You need to have 7 full mana crystals to play this card. Then down here there are numbers. The number in the left is the attack rating of the card. The number in the right is the life the creature has. When this life goes to 0, the creature dies, and this is the damage the creature does when you attack with it to another creature or to the enemy hero. You also have cards with special effects. For instance, you have the Stormwind Champion. When you put it on the board, the other minions you have on the board have +1/+1, so one more to attack, one more to health, which is really huge. For instance, Isera, which is one of the best legendaries. At the end of your turn, draw a dream card, which are really powerful cards of minions and spells. The Molten Giant, which costs 20 mana. The most you can have is 10, so this would be impossible to cast if it wasn't for it costs 1 less mana for each damage your hero has taken. So if you are at 10 health, your hero is at 10 health, it starts with 30, this card costs 0 to play. Same with the Sea Giant, costs 1 less for each other minion on the battlefield. So for each minion there's on the battlefield, this costs less to cast. There are not just creatures, there are also spells. Spells are special effects that you get on just a direct removal, damage to the enemy hero or enemy minions. For instance, in the Druid, Bite gives your hero +4 attack this turn and 4 armor. So in that given turn, you can attack with your hero. Swipe. Deal 4 damage to an enemy and 1 damage to all other enemies. So you select one enemy and you will deal 4 damage to that one and 1 to the rest. Then there are very different effects, there are very different mechanics on the cards, there are hundreds of cards, so it's really complicated to keep track on all the cards and all the effects. You really need to know how things work, and you really need to know the cards and their effects. For instance, taunt. Taunt means that this creature has to be attacked before anything else. If you have an enemy who has a taunt creature on the board, you have to get rid of that taunt first before you can attack anything else. There are charge effects. Charge effects are that each time you put a minion on the battlefield, on the board, you have to spend you have to wait until the next turn before you can play him. However, if he has charge or you have casted a spell that gives him charge, you can play it in the same turn you played it already. So if you drop the card in a given turn, you can actually attack it with it in the same turn. There are very different kind of spells, different kind of creatures. There are very different kind of effects. Minions that give more health to other minions that have stealth. Stealth means that as long as they don't attack, they can't be targeted on the battlefield. There are very different kind of removal spells that deal direct damage to minions or to the hero, etc. Depends a lot on the class you are playing. There are very different classes. There's Hunter. Hunter has very good synergy with Beasts. Beasts are special creatures. Each minion has, as you can see down here, Beast. You will have different kind of minions, and Hunter mixes very well with Beasts. You also have a lot of secrets. Secrets are spells that you play on your turn, but they activate on the enemy's turn when some trigger happens. Then you also have weapons. Weapons give ability for your character, for your hero, to do direct damage to the enemy. Of course, you are also subjected to their damage. Each weapon has damage and a durability. These are the times you can attack with this weapon before it breaks down. Hunter has weapons, of course. Then you have the Mage, which is all about spells and direct damage to the enemy. Then you have the Paladin. The Paladin deck is also has quite some effects of secrets, but it's mostly about summoning minions on the battlefield. You have also some weapons, some of them really good, like True Silver Champion. This is really good. AoE, area of effect. I mean, this affects all the battlefield. Spells, some buffs for the minions you have on the battlefield. Very good class. Priest, which is currently OP, is it has everything. It has very good minions. It has very good spells. It has very good removal. It's the best control deck. Control deck is one where you establish superiority on the board and you win by slowly killing the enemy while keeping the enemy board empty. There are different kind of decks. There are aggro decks, which consist on dealing as much direct damage to the enemy as possible from as early on as you can. There are control decks, which, as I told you, they are much slower, etc. The priest is control and has a lot of core draw, minions that allow you to draw cards by different effects. You can even steal your enemy's cards with Mind Vision or Thought Steal, which is here. The hero power is regenerating health, so you can keep your minions alive for longer. There are some creatures that change your ability to heal to ability to deal damage, for instance the Auctionai Salt Priest. And the most powerful thing is Mind Control. Mind Control is a card that directly allows you to take full control of an enemy minion on the board and make it yours, and it's yours forever. You also have Shadow Madness, which is kind of a limited Mind Control, only works on 3 or less attack, and during your turn. After the end of the turn, the minion returns to the enemy. But usually what you do is to get an enemy minion, use it, destroy it while using it, and then the enemy gets nothing back. Mind Control is permanent, so it's really powerful. It's OP. This class is OP, honestly. Then the Rogue. There's a lot of... it's about combos. There are a lot of cards that have a combo effect. A combo means that if you have played another card before the one that has a combo, you get the combo effects. For instance, Eviscerate, deal 2 damage directly. But if you play it as a combo, if you play this card after having played another card, you deal 4 damage instead, which is really powerful. And it's all about combos. It has a lot of direct damage, it has a lot of very useful spells, and it's really, really competent. Also has a lot of weapons, so really good class. Then the Shaman. The Shaman is built around totems and Overload. Totems are minions that you can call with your hero power. There are 4 different totems. One is an attack totem, a 1/1, 1 attack, 1 life. Another is a taunt totem, 0/2, no attack, 2 life, but forces the enemy to attack that creature first. Another is a spell damage effect, increases the effectivity of your spells, which is a 0/2 as well. And finally there's a healing totem, which is a 0/2 and heals the other minions on the battlefield. And it's built around the Overload mechanics. Overload mechanics means that if you play this card, which costs 1 mana, you can deal 3 damage, but in the next turn you will have 1 less mana to play with. Just for the next turn. It's kind of a 2 mana card, but with the cost distributed along different turns, which can be really useful or can totally destroy your ability to play this class. Because if you don't play smart with Overload, you are going to have turns when you can do nothing. So it's a very interesting class with a lot of removal, very good minions. Hex is one of the funniest cards in the game. Transforms a minion into a 0/1 frog with taunt. So even the most powerful thing in the battlefield, you can cast that on that, and it will end up being a frog. Same happens with mates. It has polymorph. Well, there are a lot of very good spells on Shaman. It's a very competent class, but maybe a complicated one to play. Then you have the Warlock. The Warlock has an ability which is you can each turn you can draw a card, but it's going to cost you 2 life, which doesn't seem like a good exchange, but really is very powerful because card draw is one of the things you really need to keep an eye on to be a good Hearthstone player. The more cards you have, the more options you have. It's all around about demons and removal, damage effects, etc. With very powerful creatures that you can summon for very low mana, but that they have battle cries. These are effects that activate when they enter the battlefield, that really hurt you. For instance, Flame Imp only costs 1 mana, it's a 3/2. Usually a 3/2 creature is 2 mana. but this one just costs 1, and this battlefield is deal 2 damage to your hero. So by casting this, you are actually going to suffer damage on your own hero. Doesn't sound like very good, but really this is a very powerful creature, so it's kind of a really nice thing. There are other battle cries, which is discard a random card. I don't like those battle cries because you can get your most powerful card out of your hand by doing that, so no. There are the Dread Infernal, deal 1 damage to all other characters, so all other minions, the enemy hero, and yourself. Hellfire, deal 3 damage to all characters, so that means that the enemy is going to get hit, you are going to get hit, your minions are going to get hit, and also the enemy minions are going to get hit. So you can see this is like demoniac thing that cares about nothing but dealing damage and summoning demons. Really, it's a very funny class to play. It's one of my favorites too. And finally, the warrior. The warrior is all about massive damage. Lots of weapons, lots of charts. What it is. The hair. Warzone Commander. Your other minions have charts. As long as you have this on the board, every minion you play, you can play on the same turn you casted. There are others that have charts on their own. For instance, the Corcoran Elite has charts, so when you put this on the board, you will charge with it. There are others that giving the Valkyrie is giving you a weapon. There are very powerful weapons in here. There are very powerful spells, like Inner Raids. Deals 1 damage to a minion, but gives it +2 attack, and this can be very useful for some creatures, and also for damaging the enemy, because you have execute, destroy a damaged enemy minion. So if you have a perfectly fine, very powerful enemy minion and you cast Inner Raids on them and you do 1 damage, you can execute them, and no matter how big it is, it's going to die. It lacks a little bit on area of effect spells, but other than that, this is also other of the very funny classes to play. And finally, the Druid. The Druid is kind of a strange mix between a mage and I would say maybe a druid, a shaman. Sorry, it doesn't have overload, so no problems with that. But the main strength of this class is that most of its cards have double effects. You can choose the one you want. For instance, Power of the Wild. Choose one. Give your minions +1/+1. So, for instance, Power of the Wild. Choose one. Give your minions +1/+1, or summon a 3/2 Panther. So you can choose if you want to give the minions you already have +1/+1, or you want a creature which is a 3/2 Panther. Other very good double, Druid of the Clouds. Choose one. Charge or +2 health and taunt. So you can make this a charge creature, or you can make it a taunt creature. You have one here. Deal 2 other one here. Choose one. Deal 2 direct damage to whatever enemy you select, or silence a minion. Silencing a minion is erasing all the spells it has on him. This has very powerful taunts. Look at that, 8/8 taunt. This is very powerful. Has very powerful removal. Starfire, deal 5 damage and draw a card, which is really powerful. Costs a little bit too much, but it's really cool. Starfall, which is another very powerful removal. Deal 5 damage to a minion or 2 damage to all enemy minions, etc. It has very powerful spells. It's a very, very powerful class. So those are the classes. And how to play? Well, I'm going to actually do this in a practice game, not in a live one, because I want to tell you guys how I play and why I play the way I do, without being problems of having an enemy who's waiting for me. So let's go with a Warlock, with a custom deck. I have this one has very normal cards. It only has a couple rares, so. And let's go versus, I don't know, a Priest. And I will be telling you what happens as the game goes by, so you can understand how the mechanics work. So at the beginning you get 3 or 4 cards, depending on if you are going first or second. The second has a slight disadvantage because it goes second, and it compensates it with a spell called Decoying. Decoying is a spell that gives you +1 mana for the turn you are playing at. Well, I am going first, so I don't have the coin. I only have 3 cards to choice. At the beginning of the game, you start with 0 mana. The first turn, you have 1 mana. The second turn, you have 2. The third one has 3. As you can see, the creatures I have right now, they are very high mana cost creatures. So I'm going to mulligan all of them. And I will get another draw of 3 cards, which is not much better. This one is cost 0, but these cards are random card, and this I don't like. So it's my turn, first turn. I don't have anything to play. I could play this, because as you can see, deal 4 damage. I could do 4 direct damage to the enemy hero, but it will discard a random card, so I can get my Azure Drake lost, my Siphon Soul lost, and this is a very powerful removal, and I don't want to lose it, or Shadow Flame. So I'm not going to play anything. So let's pass the turn, and he plays a Worgen Infiltrator, which is really bad news. Worgen Infiltrator is a minion that has stealth. As you can see, I can't target it. I can't see it. I know it's on the board, but I can't target it. This turn, I still don't have anything to play. Wow, this is a really shitty hand. So I'm going to Life Tap. Life Tap is my hero power. Draws a card and takes 2 damage. And I get a Drain Life, which deals 2 damage and restores 2 health to our hero, at the cost of 3 mana. So next turn, I will be able to play something. Mind Blast deals 5 damage to the enemy hero. He turn 2 and I'm already in 21 health. Not really nice. Shitty, really shitty hand. Okay, let's Drain Life. I'm going to target the creature. He only has 1 life, but I'm going to get rid of it, and I get 2 health out of it. I used all my mana for this turn, so that's it. Leper Gnome. This has a Death Rattle. A Death Rattle is an effect that kicks in when the creature dies. For instance, this one, when it dies, it deals 2 direct damage to the enemy hero. There are a lot of different Death Rattles and different effects, so you want to watch it. So you are going to see the first time, for the first time, Silence. Battle Cry, silence a minion. So if I cast that 4 mana, as you can see, it costs 4 mana, and this is turn 4, I have 4 mana. I can play it. I can select this creature and silence it. And once it's silenced, you will see all the effects on that particular creature are gone. So whatever buffs it has received, they are gone. Whatever effects it has on the battlefield, they are gone. Whatever death rattle they have, they are gone. So silence is a very powerful tool to stop very unwelcome effects. Acolyte of Pain. This is a very special card. This is a very funny card. Whenever this minion takes damage, draw a card. Card drawing is one of the most powerful things in Hearthstone, because the more cards you have, the more things you can do. Whenever this minion takes damage, draw a card. So it has 3 health. If I have to spend maybe 2 attacks to kill it, this guy is going to get 2 cards out of it. So my idea here is I want to kill it in as few hits as I can, because if I can kill it in 1 hit, better than in 2. So now what could I do? I could silence it, and then this wouldn't be a problem. He wouldn't be able to draw any card, which is a very nice thing. But I want to keep my Spellbreaker for other stuff. I only have 2 of them in my deck, so I will wait. I could simply cast an Azure Drake, which gives me more spell damage and draws a card as well. But I'm going to use the Shattered Sun Cleric. The battle cry is give a friendly minion +1/+1. You can see, for attack, I'm down to 1 health. If I attack this, which is a 1 attack, 3 health, I'm going to die. But if I do this and use my battle cry on this creature, I turn it into a 5/2. this still only has one attack, so I can get rid of it. He's going to draw a card. There you go. And I keep this creature alive. 5-1. As you can see, these are the mechanics and how it works. The attack gets subtracted from the enemy life. When the enemy life goes to 0, the creature dies. But if you are very low on health, you can buff it, you can heal it. The priest hero power, as you can see, is restored to health to whatever thing on the battlefield, even enemies. So yeah, that's it. So we have 2 mana left. This costed 3 mana, so we have 3, we have 5, 2 left, we are to life tap. And we have yet another card to play next turn. And end turn. Let's see what he plays. Abomination. And this is a taunt. Actually, this is a very card. I hate it. Taunt. It has a death rattle. This 2 damage to all characters. So when this thing dies, this 2 damage to everything on the battlefield. Everything. Which is pretty much bad. Even more so if you have more creatures than the enemy on the board, because they will get all of them damaged or will die. This is going to die. If this thing dies. So what I'm going to do is taunt. As you can see, I can't attack the enemy hero because I have to attack the minion with taunt first. So I can do several things. First of all, I can directly destroy it and restore 3 health to my hero. But still, the death rattle is going to work. Deal 2 damage to all characters, so this is going to die. So it makes no sense. I could simply directly attack with this one and the result is going to be the same. I also could silence it, and this is what I'm going to do. I silence it and suddenly there's no taunt, there's no problem but when it dies. And now I can trade my creatures. It only had 1 health, it wasn't going to live much longer, so I deal with it, deal damage to the enemy, tap again to get another card, and pass the turn. I have board control. I'm playing a control deck. Oh, another one. Oh my shit. Anyway, I have control on the battlefield. Control means that you want to have more minions on the battlefield than the enemy, and if possible, to have minions on the battlefield while the enemy has none. And do what I'm doing, dealing with them as they pop up. This is a very unwelcome problem right now, because this has taunt, I don't have any more silence. I could use Soulfire on it, but it's going to discard a random card. I'm going to do it, just to show you how it works. No, actually I'm going to use Argent Commander. Or no, maybe not. I don't really know. The thing is that I have to attack this and it's going to cause 2 damage when it dies. Unless I silence it, but I use my silence. I already used them, so no, I'm not going to get any benefit out of it. So what I'm going to do is directly remove it from the battlefield. Siphon Soul. Destroy any minion, directly. No question asked as how big it is. Restore 3 health to your hero. So it dies, we get +3, but when it dies, it goes off and all our minions suffer 2 damage, which is really a pain in the ass. So I'm going to play this little 1 mana taunt to avoid attacks from possible chargers. The coin gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. He uses mind control. This is a very bad use of mind control, by the way, but this is an AI, this is not a player. But that's how mind control works. He uses it and this creature is his. So now I have to deal with it. It's a 4-1, so if I attack this with this, he's going to die. No big deal. But just imagine that you conjure your most powerful creature and the enemy just takes it. Yeah, not really nice. So, okay, what we are going to do here is to call the Nomis Inventor. Its battlefield is to draw a card. So you play a card, but it gets instantly replaced. And then a Chillwind Yari, which has no effects, but it's a powerful creature. We attack, and turn. He's down to 15 health. Another Leper Gnome. Faceless Manipulator. The battle cry is... Oh! it copies whatever creature is on the board. Usually, you would copy a Yeti, but he copied himself. Okay, this is kind of nice, to be honest. So we can ignore them and go for head. This is 7 attack and 8 direct attack. Well, not sure. We can actually get a kill here. So let's do this. This has charge and Divine Shield. Divine Shield is this yellow bubble you see here, and that means that the first attack, the first damage, no matter how big it is, might be 20 damage, no matter. That damage gets eaten by that shield, and the shield gets out. Also has charge, as you can see, and you have seen before. Each time I play a minion, I couldn't play it in the same turn, but this has charge, so I can play it in the same turn as the other minions which are already on the board. I can go for his head. He's down to 4 health. I cast this, which is 4 direct damage, and I get 1 random discard, which I don't care because I won. And that's how it works. That's how Hearthstone works. Any questions you have, of course, you can ask me in the comment section below. I will be so happy to answer them and to address them in further videos. Then I'm going to make more videos about Hearthstone, probably about how to build a deck. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and see you later.